I'm going crazy, but no one knows. They don't see the monsters I keep. They come at me with all their claws, drifting me to a faraway place where I am made to believe that I am alone. I am consumed by the darkness, freed only by cutting my skin where black is replaced by red, and I am at peace in the comfort of color. There is a storm inside my head, washing away my existence, and yet they say it is not real. It is real, and I can't defeat it by myself.
When people ask me, why am I so passionate about the foundation, about the work? Because I want to see it through, and I would like my foundation, not for who it stands for. No, it's not about a name. It is more about each one being empowered to help those who have lost a loved one. One of the most, I would say the most difficult part of my life was when I lost my daughter in this tragedy. I didn't know whether to feel. I was so confused. I was in denial. No mother, no father, no parent or siblings ever expect this kind of tragedy to hit their lives, and more so with me, because she was really a happy girl, a very balanced person who enjoyed life, who loved life, who cracked a lot of jokes and was a happy person. Well, I thought it was just a broken love affair, a broken heart, and it went way beyond that. I, as a mother, was ignorant of the symptoms of depression. So that's why the work that our foundation does is very important. In this segment, I would like to honor the brave mothers and the brave fathers who have survived the loss of a lost child through suicide. When I lost her, the first thing I missed was the sound of her voice. I missed the girl sitting on the chair when we had our meals. I missed certain parts of her being with us, enjoying, talking about food, experimenting, cooking lessons, and in the kitchen. I missed that part of her. So when you see this empty chair as a family sits down, you miss the voice across the table. It is truly painful.
18 months ago, that fatal day. That fatal day of April 21, 2018, I lost my 20-year-old son to depression. A sickness I knew nothing about and did not know existed in my boy. Unfortunately, the friends of my son knew he was suffering from depression. He was suffering for 2 years. And he hid it so well. He wore a mask every day. He was my happiest and my strongest child. I did not know he was texting his friends, saying that he was so depressed and he wanted to come home. I tell the children today that when you have a friend, you need to call for help. You can't keep this between or amongst just you people. 4 days before I lost my son, his friend died by suicide. He texted me, I was at work, and he said, "Mom, I'm not coming home tonight because my friend died and I need to go to the wake." That was Tuesday morning. I said, "What happened? And who?" He said, "Oh, my friend Eggy. He hanged himself." I said, "No, you need to come home. We need to talk." I was cooking, and in the kitchen counter, I was talking to him and my 60-year-old daughter then, and I said, I hope you kids are not thinking of suicide. And you know, with that face, he even said, Ma, duh, as if I would do that, hello. I had a full-blown 30-minute conversation on suicide with my kids. And I lost him 4 days after. I presented his case to the doctors. Apparently, he was already suffering from clinical depression. At the time that I spoke to him, he was already battling with suicide.
Right? There are resolutions and solutions to all of these situations. There is indeed a light at the end of what seems like a very long, dark tunnel.
Relationships can be healed, and broken wings can be mended.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to rise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly. Blackbird fly into the night of a dark black night. Blackbird fly. Blackbird fly. Blackbird fly. Blackbird fly. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to rise. You were only waiting for this moment to rise. You were only waiting for this moment to rise. And one begins to rise the moment one acknowledges the problem and asks for help.
A few years ago, I was approached by the head of a school regarding what to do because a college student, had just killed himself. And a few months after that, a lady who worked in human resources called me up quite frantically because an executive from their office had killed himself in their office. And within the same year, a friend of mine, a doctor, referred her cousin's family because her cousin died from suicide and she wanted the family to have some kind of intervention. So with those experiences, it has brought us to the fact that suicide has such a large impact on those left behind, the family, the office, the school or university, not counting the friends and the community who are bereaved by what happened. And so the issue of postvention has become important to us. Why? Because it is also seen as a prevention. We had to intervene to prevent the development of more severe reactions and even maybe pathological disorders like depression, anxiety, or even another suicide. And so this brings us to the issue now The reason why we are giving a lot of attention these days to postvention, because we know that though we try at suicide prevention, some suicides will still happen, and there's a lot to be done to address the needs of the bereaved families, the college students, those who have lost someone they love and care for due to suicide.
Hello, my name is Father Dennis Paez. I'm a Salesian of Don Bosco. We Salesians, we work for the young, but more specifically for the poor and abandoned ones. I'm here privileged to speak to you about my experience of accompanying families whose member committed suicide. You see, death will always be something difficult for everybody, but to have a death in the family that is this way, it's indescribable. Not only the pain, but also because of the repercussions of this kind to the other members of the family and even to society. Even to society. That is why I think we should have the understanding what happens to this family. There are many good things that can come to that. You know, one of the evil of suicide is it opens a door. Something that is not at all an option becomes an option. We all pass through difficulties. We all pass through pains. But, you know, instinctively we feel this is not a solution. But when it happens to a family, it's like a door that has been locked and nailed is now opened. In fact, nasusundan siya. Nasusundan siya, other members of the family, the larger family, nasusundan among classmates, nasusundan in the school, in the community. Aside from that, there is the stigma to the family. That's why families have to lie, have to hide. Families are prevented from mourning, and you know, they find out later that, you know, there are certain members of the family that are very depressive, only to discover that way earlier in life, there was a suicide which nobody wants to talk about, which was just pushed under the carpet, which was never mourned. The result of which is later generations, later members of the family are depressive, mourning what was not mourned, burying what was not buried because of the stigma. Well, parents blame themselves. Family members blame themselves. If I said this word, if only I did this, maybe it has something to do with a rejection that I did not even mean. There's a lot of blaming that happens, which of course doesn't help, which is of course unnecessary. Unnecessary. And then there is this, the stigma about from other people that these parents must be irresponsible, they must be cruel, and we people start to make judgments, and people look at the children as, you know, these children are sick, and so on and so forth, and so they are not children of other families are not allowed to mingle with them anymore, friendships are cut. What a terrible thing. At the time when they need people the most, we just want to be civil around them and, you know, just let go of them. At the time that they need compassion the most. Pope Francis has spoken about compassion so much. Compassion is, I feel this person's pain. I might not feel the same pain, but I understand and accept this pain, and I'd like to do something to alleviate that pain. This is how we stop this evil. When we respond with compassion. We respond with compassion. Not respond in a just civilized way. And how is it to respond with compassion? We continue the friendship. We continue the caring. It's not just at funerals that we are around. We make ourselves available for this family, for these persons. And in that way, we make the presence of Christ palpable. And when the presence of Christ is there, this pandemic ends. You see, at no other time do we know so much studies, so much scientific conclusions and explanation. At no other time do we know so much about suicide. But at no other time is there so much of it. And even in our young people, losing hope. What is the antidote? Compassion. Compassion.
I remember the afternoon where this little village, this little group of kindred spirits, sila Bito, sila Michael, Luna, and of course Miss Jeannie and Frances, were mulling over what kind of music or which catalog to explore. When we all realized the Beatles, whether it's in a title or it's in lyrics, really sends a arrow right to your heart to penetrate it and make it happy or sad or vulnerable or strong. And sometimes songs are dark, like it's about a road being very long and winding, and how all the good things in one's life was not today. It's not in the present tense. It's yesterday. So yesterday, the long and winding road. But sometimes it is really through the darkness. Sorry, it is not mine. It is not my quote. But only the darkness can make you appreciate the light. Diba? And it is in the wounds where light can shine through. And which brings us to other songs in their catalog that say that you can work it out, try to see it my way. And all of this is not all blah, 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 blah lang. It is me taking the time to give you that support. It's love from me to you. So, what a nice reminder of how very often we just think of headwinds, not the tailwinds. They said that headwinds, when you're jogging and the strong wind you're running against, makes you forget that there's a tailwind of people pushing you forward, people who've got your back. In fact, the whole world has got your back. If you really open your eyes and realize that 68, is it 60, if I'm not mistaken? Am I mistaken? No, I'm not mistaken. So I'm right. 68. It's more than 65. Countries are recognizing this special day for covering each other's back and being there for people who are just about to give up. And it's true, we can get by with a little help from our friends. In fact, I was reminded of this quote my friend said, for me, more important than those words, I love you, because this person is not an I love you kind of person, is I am here. And which is what you are saying right now by watching this stream. And by, of course, taking that candle and lighting it in recognition of the fact that we have to look out for each other and give each other hope.
Yesterday, all my troubles seemed so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday.
Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, yesterday came suddenly.
Why she had to go, I don't know. She wouldn't say. I said some
yesterday. Love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Why she had to go, I don't know. She would have said, I said something wrong. Now I long for yesterday. Yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday.
I came out with a video of me telling the story of losing my mom to depression when I was 19, which is something I have never publicly talked about until that day. I have talked about it with friends, of course. I never lied about it, nor did I lie about it in public. I just kind of worked my way around it. And so after 18 years, or 19, I finally talked about it. I have never felt, I think, depression or long bouts of depression. I have felt low and sad. I have my own issues that I've dealt with. But growing up with a parent who struggled, and I would use the word suffered because it really, her life, seeing her day in and day out, battling it, was not easy. And it was very difficult for a child to see her mother try to take her life away several times. I guess I want to say that I want to commend Ms. Jeannie and everyone here who has been doing their work to help normalize conversation around mental health and mental illness and wellness. It has taken me time to join the conversation because I never really knew how to talk about it because I felt like I missed the boat, I missed the chance. How do you talk about it? You don't just do a Boy Abunda interview or do an MMK about it. It's just not in good taste. And then so finally I was given an opportunity. And it's very important for people going through this to know that they will not be judged. All they want is to be seen and to be heard, and for their feelings to be validated. My mother didn't have a support group. And every day I wish that I fully understood her, that there were more people who understood her. But she didn't. And now she's gone. So I guess I use her story now and the platform that I've been blessed with and given and the voice I have to make a difference and to let people know that you can survive and thrive in life even as you battle these things.
To those of you who are listening, I received a long-distance call from the Melbourne Police that fateful day in November 2018. It's about 9 months ago. I was told my daughter had passed away. My lovely, funny, sensitive, bright, lively, compassionate 18-year-old daughter was gone. A bit of a background. My daughter attempted back in 2018, but we were blessed to catch her by some miracle. We took her immediately to the psychiatrist and had her admitted. After a prolonged stay of some 33 days, she was diagnosed with major depressive disorder and OCPD. Well, we went on all the meds that was prescribed and went on monthly counseling sessions. We even had a weekly counselor come and process her to try and get her back on track on healing. Various strategies and approaches were sought by the family. Of course, our love, our attention, we bonded, like, we said we're gonna help her through this, whatever it takes, no? So we tried to engage her in things she loved, no? Sports activities, tennis. She was taking lessons with her brother, walking around the park, photography. I even took parent sessions on better how to communicate with teens and how to approach teens, and read books, endlessly poured books on depression and healing. We even found a yoga class together and a cafe therapy. Of course, trying to find ways to understand her was a big part of the whole process. We believed we were finally on our way to recovery because she got accepted in the college she applied to, even excitedly preparing for the trip. Well, we got there in July of 2019, found and furnished an apartment together, and I taught her how to, live on her own, cook for herself, easy meals, and so on, and use the public transport, the tram. I left her 3 months later and came back in November. Unfortunately, when I left, a week later it happened, no? She had succeeded in doing it. I believe the struggle was intense, and so she had many victories, but she failed in this one. Of course, the questions came later on. Why didn't I pick up the cues? Why did I leave you on your own? We did have a few conversations when I was there last that it's also meaningless. It's the depression talking. What's the point? Why study hard? And so what? So I get a job, a meaningless job, and things like that. Well, finally, when we had the funeral over in Melbourne, we were blessed with probably our biggest gift there, which was our angel, Walter. He was the driver assigned to us by the funeral service. He told us, hold on to each other tight and make a vow not to blame each other. He then enlightened us about the new spiritual lights on depression. He talked about God's mercy and how His mercy is able to act and save souls. Those words consoled my husband and I so much. And after that, we came home. We made the decision to hope and to heal as one family. Somehow, we already knew that we do not wish to sink into despair and stay in the dark cave of depression forever. I don't want to be a zombie. I have my 2 other children to take care of. I want to be there as a supportive and loving mom, and my husband also. Yes, my faith in God and Mama Mary pulled me through. I do wish to talk to the church community as well, to enlighten others how difficult depression is, and that to remove that mindset, the souls are condemned, that is also adding to the burden of the parents' overwhelming grief. So I'm here to just hope in a bright future where our country, our community, the Filipinos, can bring compassion and kindness to families who've lost a loved child from depression. Thank you.
I'm Monsignor Garcia. I'm 58 years old, and I am 35 years in the priesthood. When I was 13 years old, I lost my dad. He committed suicide. It was hurting for the family. What will people say? And I come from a Catholic school. But the priest in Don Bosco gave me the wisdom of how to handle it. Instead of crying over spilt milk, I was asked to reflect what was God's message for me. And looking at the suicide note of my dad, it was specifically said that he did this because he would not want us to suffer. Him suffering immensely because of cancer. And for this, I realized that instead of just getting angry, I had to reciprocate this great concern of my dad, which is love for us. And for this, I said, I will pray for Daddy, that God may have mercy on him and God may bring him home to heaven. And every day in my high school life, I was always taught to pray for him. And that opened literally for me to answer the question, where is my dad now? There is a next life. And for this, it opened the vocation to priesthood. And I promised my dad, in my 7 years of seminary stay, I will never miss a single mass praying for him. And when I become a priest, I'm 35 years as a priest, no miss, every day of that mass, and whatever mass that I will celebrate for that particular day, it's offered for him as a way for me to thank him for his kindness of thinking us more than himself. I am not exalting what he did. It was definitely wrong. But at that particular moment, perhaps that was a decision that was not really mindful of his state of mind. That is the reason why I want all of you, especially those who may have been hurt by an action done by a family member or a friend in committing suicide. It's not the end of the world. All the more we need to pray for them and assist them. Especially every year, we are celebrating the Suicide Prevention or Awareness Month. And on that day of September 10, I hope all of us will pray for those who have passed away and for the grieving families at that. And let us go one step higher of liberating ourselves from this grief and turn it as an opportunity for us to do something concrete and advocate that people may have hope in doing good and in praying to God. Lastly, What does the church tell us about those who have taken their lives? The New Catechism of the Catholic Church, specifically 2283. Let me quote it for you. We should not despair of eternal salvation of persons who have taken their lives. By ways known to Him alone, God can provide the opportunity for their salutary repentance. The Church invites all of us to pray for them. Eternal rest grant unto the souls, O Lord, and let your perpetual light shine upon them. And may they rest in peace and go back home to eternal life. Amen.
Life is very short and there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friends. I have always thought that it's a crime, so I will ask you once again. Try to see it my way. Only time will tell if I am right or I am wrong. While you see it your way, there's a chance that we may fall apart before too long. We can work it out. We can work it out. Life is very short and there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friends. I have always thought that it's a crime, so I will ask you once again. Try to see it my way. Only time will tell if I am right or I am wrong. While you see it your way, there's a chance that we may fall apart before too long. We can work it out. We can work it out.
Yep. Working it out together.
Facing frustrations together.
Tackling trials together.
Together. That is the key.
Thank you for watching. Be with us. Be our partner. I need you, and the Philippines needs you. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon for more updates. We like your comments and share with us your concerns. We are here to answer your questions. See you next time. Thank you.